Hi, welcome back to The Floating World with me, Lachlan Scott. Today I'm in Toyosu, Shin-Toyosu in fact, which is the first stop on the Yurikamome Line. And if you do take the line, you'll notice as you go past Shin-Toyosu station this remarkable looking pillar behind me and probably wonder what it's all about. It's a permanent exhibition centre for a series of art installations by a group of artists called TeamLab. They're an international artist collective founded in Japan 20 years ago. Their focus is on immersive and interactive installations. They're created by a group of engineers, programmers, architects and different sorts of artists working collaboratively. Some of the artworks are on permanent display in other public places in Tokyo and around the world, and in art galleries around the world too. TeamLab Planets, here behind me, is the permanent exhibition centre in Tokyo for some of their artworks. The artworks are continually changing, so if you've visited before, you can come back again. What they say about it is TeamLab Planets is a museum where you walk through water and a garden where you become one with the flowers. People go into the exhibitions barefoot and immerse their entire bodies in the vast artworks together with other visitors. The artworks change under the presence of people, blurring the perception of boundaries between the self and the works and creating a continuity between the self, the art and others. So real serious art then, but accessible to tourists and visitors and art lovers who are resident in the city. The cost is 3,800 yen at the moment. That's about $25 for adults, and it's about half price for children, high school students and people with disabilities. You can buy tickets in person at these booths behind me here, but the best way to do it is online in advance. On the site you'll see that there's a calendar which shows what days and times are still available, and it takes about an hour to an hour and a half to travel through the entire exhibition centre. The tickets are issued digitally with a QR code, and the codes themselves, slightly strangely when you get the ticket, the QR codes themselves aren't visible until the day of the exhibition, which is slightly unnerving. But on the day of the exhibition they become available as a normal QR code, and they'll give you access to the exhibition centre through the turnstiles that you can see behind me. You can rebook the tickets too and transfer them to other people, and that works very well and very smoothly. If you do have any issues, the staff here are very helpful. So as we can see, the exhibition centre is right outside Shin-Toyosu station, and that's the best way of coming here. Get on to the Yurikamome Line and get the first stop, or if you've come from the other side of Tokyo, you can go around the loop around the bridge, which is really great. See the whole of the reclaimed area and all the brilliant architecture, and then get off here and do the exhibition. That would be a really great way to do it. It takes half an hour to travel the Yurikamome Line. There's no car parking here, but you could come by taxi and you get drop off just outside, or by bus. And if you arrive with luggage, as you might, there's these storage spaces behind me, and you can see that there are locks and you can secure your luggage there for the duration of your stay. Inside there are plenty of lockers and they're free to use, and there are a couple of other things to note about belongings and possessions. The artworks are experienced barefoot, so you take off your shoes and socks and put them in the locker and then go through the whole exhibition space. There are areas where your feet get wet, walking uphill through water running down the hill is really, really interesting. And then there's another one where you're walking through a lake which is almost knee deep, and then there are towels which you can dry off in between. So my advice is to leave all of your possessions behind. Take a phone with you if you want, but leave everything else behind and go through as empty-handed as you possibly can. Now, some of the displays have mirrored floors, and there's water lying on the floor. And if you're wearing skirts or dresses or ethnic costume even, TeamLab provide shorts that you can hire, basically just sports shorts with drawstring waist, and they come in a variety of sizes, and that's part of the charge. So if you were wearing a dress or a skirt or some sort of ethnic costume that was open at the bottom, you can borrow these shorts, change into them, and then proceed through the artworks. Now, amateur photography and smartphone use is allowed, but gimbals, stabilizing gimbals or selfie sticks aren't. There's no lighting for video photography allowed, no camera flash or video fill lights. So if you try to do any of that, the staff will intercept you and they will stop you. I'll put all of these details in the description below so you can read it at your leisure. Now, as for the artworks that are on display at the moment, there are several artworks that you can see. Drawing on the water surface, an interactive digital installation from 2016, but newly reinstalled this month. Sound again by Hideaki Takahashi. The installation is a pool of milky water with projections of koi carp swimming through the water. But as people walk through the water, the carp move according to their position. When they collide with people, they turn into flowers and scatter, and the flowers that they're turning into actually change with the seasons. It's not pre-recorded in any way, it's all procedurally generated, and it's a one-off. What you're seeing will never be repeated again. Depends on how many people are there and how they're moving in the space. It's very, very beautiful. I highly recommend it. Then another of the very striking installations is the Crystal Universe by TeamLab 2018, interactive light sculpture. It's a maze of hanging crystal LEDs, and we walk through them so that the walls of these mazes are these great sheets of light that are constantly moving and changing colour, and there are great ripples running through the walls. There's incredible ethereal objects hanging in space, moving towards you and moving past you. It also interacts with the visitors, and there's a central area where visitors can select stars using an app and throw them into the rest of the maze. It's really amazing. Again, highly recommended. And what about this giant pillar behind me? Well, this is in the public space. You don't have to go into the building to see it and to interact with it. It's more than just an advert for TeamLab Planets. It's actually one of the TeamLab's artworks from 2021. It's called Universe of Fire, Particles Falling from the Sky, sound by Hideaki Takahashi. It looks fascinating from the street, or if you're standing on the platform at the railway station, but the artwork is, like many of the installations, interactive. So TeamLab's Planets, Shin-Toyosu, highly recommended. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you have, please join me again.